Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So, beta, today we are going to go ahead and we are going to take one of the questions and we are going to see how to write the answer in this case. It is easy to know the answer, to know a concept, but how you should be framing the answer, that is a little difficult. Okay. So, let's take the question today and let us try to see how to solve this question. If the demand function is given to you as P is equal to 4 minus 0.5 square, for what values of Q will the price elasticity of demand be unity? Now, I just want to alert you here. So first of all, let me just write it here. First of all, it is important. Let me reshare my screen. I think something happened. Okay. So first of all, it is important that when you go ahead and when when you are going ahead and you are equating it to unity, right? You need to make sure, you need to keep this in mind that you need to equate this to -1, not 1, right? ये एक चीज है जो बहुत important है. So when I will be finding the elasticity of demand, I will be जो भी यहाँ पे value आएगा, I will be equating this to -1. That is one thing which is important. If you don't want to equate this to -1 and you want to equate this to 1, then what you can go ahead and you can do is you can take the elasticity of demand and absolute value and equate this to 1. Right? So try to understand this thing. It says for what value of Q will price elasticity of demand be unity? Now, this is elasticity of demand. So when we say unit elastic, it means that we need to equate it to -1. Otherwise, you will get a wrong answer. And if you're equating it to 1, to the left-hand side, when you will solve it, you need to ensure that you take it in the absolute value. Okay? That's the first important thing here. The second important thing here is the formula of elasticity of demand. So the formula of elasticity of demand is how quantity changes as price changes into price by quantity. Right. But here, if you see, you are given price as a function of quantity. You are given price as a function of quantity. So when you will do dP by dQ, you will get some value here. dP by dQ. But this formula requires dQ by dP. So you will just reciprocate this dQ by dP. And you will get the answer of this. You will just reciprocate it. So, agar price as a function of quantity is given to you, doesn't mean you will first find quantity as a function of price. This is not required. We know that the formula requires dQ by dP. ये बात है कि फॉर्मूला को dQ by dP चाहिए, but it does not mean that you will go ahead and you will actually first find Q as a function of P. It's not required. You can find dP by dQ and then you can just reciprocate it. dP by dQ निकालो और उसको reciprocate कर दो. Is this making sense? Okay, now having told this information, let us try to solve the question. So we are given that this is our demand function. So I have just gone ahead and I have written here the formula of elasticity. So you can also say that we know that the formula of elasticity of demand is dQ by dP into P by Q. अब क्या करना है ना, that you are given that P is this, right? So as I told you कि dQ by dP निकालना मुश्किल होगा यहाँ से, although you can find that also. माने you could have done कि with respect to P if I differentiate, तो P का differentiation with respect to P is 1. यहाँ पे using the chain rule, power comes down, power reduces by 1. right, into minus 0.5 और Q का differentiation हो जाता dQ by dP. That's also fine. You, instead of taking Q as an independent variable, आपको dQ by dP यहीं कर सकते हो, right? You can just do this. Alternatively, what you can do is you can find dP by dQ. आपने यहाँ पे it's easy, थोड़ा आसान लग रहा है देखना कि मैंने price को with respect to quantity we differentiate, power comes down, power reduces by 1, and then using the chain rule here, differentiation of minus 0.5 into Q will be just minus 0.5, right? Q ka differentiation would be 1 because we are differentiating with respect to Q. So from here, then you just see that this is coming out as minus 0.5. So 0.5 is nothing but half, right? And you can just cancel this 2 out, right? So when you will be cancelling this 2 out, you will be getting minus 4 minus 0.5 Q. Okay. So you see that there is a negative sign here. You see that you are getting dP by dQ with a negative sign. This is absolutely correct because this is demand function and price and quantity needs to move in opposite direction. Price and quantity need to move in opposite direction. So this negative sign right here, this is fine. This is making sense. This conversion is also not required. You don't even have to convert this if required. या तो minus से multiply कर दो, which is fine. Otherwise, it's fine. Like this also. Now, once you have found out dP by dQ, so you can find dQ by dQ by dP, reciprocate it, reverse it. So if my dP by dQ, I have found out as this value beta, 0.5 Q minus 4. So I will get my dQ by dP as 1 upon 0.5 Q minus 4. So this has been my dQ by dP, right? Now what we can go ahead and do is we can find the elasticity of demand, which will be dQ by dP into P by Q, right? So this dQ by dP, I have already found this out. This is the value, right? Into P by Q. And I am already given P is given as a function of Q. So I am already given P as a function of Q. So bus plug in this. So instead of dP dQ by dP, this value, I have just plugged in this part. Okay, I have just rewritten this like this only, huh? So I have written this like this only, beta. मैंने negative को बाहर ही रखा है because it is elasticity of demand. So actually I have just written this like this: 1 minus 1 upon 4 minus 0.5 Q. ठीक है, क्लियर? तो माने ये अगर मैं माइनस साइन को बाहर ही रखूं, सो फ्रॉम हियर इफ आई जस्ट ट्राई टू फाइंड dQ by dP, तो इसका रेसिप्रोकल विल बी दिस ओनली ना. तो आई हैव जस्ट रिटन इट एज इट इज. Why I have written it, you will understand in a minute कि मैंने Q माइनस से मल्टीप्लाई नहीं किया so that I can cancel common terms out. So this term dQ by dP is this term. ठीक है, price is given to me as 4 minus 0.5 Q square and quantity I've written as it is. So you see that this is now getting cancelled. And I am left up with minus, of course, is there. 4 minus 0.5 Q by Q. Clear? Now, very, very important. So I told you, so this is my elasticity of demand. Now it is asking for what quantity is the elasticity of demand unit elastic. So as I told you that there are two ways to find out for what quantity it is unit elastic. The first method that you go ahead and have is that you can go ahead and you can equate elasticity of demand to -1. Directly इसको -1 से equate कर दो. And the second method is that you find its absolute value and you equate it to 1. Both mean the same thing. So it means that either I can just have 4 minus 0.5 q by q, there is a negative sign, and I equate this to minus 1, or I take its absolute value and I equate it to 1. It means the same thing only, right? But don't do this, that you will equate this directly to 1. That is incorrect. This is what is tricky here. कि many students will think कि ठीक है इसको equal to 1 कर दो. That is absolutely incorrect, right? So you cannot go ahead and equate the elasticity of demand to 1 directly, right? Unit elastic means -1 या फिर absolute value में equal to 1. So I have equated this to -1. So when I equate this to -1 beta, this, I've written this line also. For unit elastic, elasticity of demand should be equal to -1. Now what I have done is I've just cancelled this negative and negative, and I have got 4 minus 0.5 q. I will take q here is equal to q. Right? So I've got 4 is equal to 1.5 q. So I've got quantity as 4 divided by 1.5. So 40 by 15. So 40 by 15 is 8 by 3. Is that clear? Quantity is 8 by 3. So this is the quantity for which you will get demand to be unit elastic. That's the answer to this question. So you see how we need to be careful at multiple steps. And this is not a very difficult question, but you have to be very systematic in writing the answer. बहुत आराम से बैठ के systematic answer इसमें हमें लिखना होगा. We need to write the answer very carefully and systematically. We need to ensure that one, we first mention the formula for elasticity of demand. ये एक important aspect है. Second, we need to ensure that if we are finding dp by dq, we convert this dp by dq into dq by dp, which I have done here. Third, we need to ensure that when we write the elasticity of demand formula, तो हमारा जो price है, it is getting replaced with the value of price, which is a function of quantity. And most important, when we are equating the elasticity of demand, we need to ensure that it is equated to -1 and not 1. अगर मैं इसको 1 से equate कर देती, had I equated this to 1, तो देखो क्या होता, I would have got -4 plus 0.5 q by q is equal to 1. Isn't it? अगर यहाँ पे 1 लेते हैं हम suppose, so I would have got -4 plus 0.5 q is equal to q. -4 is equal to 0.5 q, and q would have been negative. Negative quantity आ जाता. It would have been incorrect. So you need to make sure that you equate, क्योंकि elasticity of demand है, because it is elasticity of demand, you equate it to -1, right? And then finally, after equating, you can just simply find the value of the quantity. Is that clear? Okay, beta. Thank you.